Hello and welcome everybody, and thank you guys for joining me again. My name is Wilkie and I'm here with a review of the game called Grounded. Now, two things straight off the bat. This is a pre-release state of the game. It's not even called early access, but they keep referring to it as a pre-release. So as you can see here in the bottom of the screen, it's not fully finished out yet. There are some issues, but generally I can already say that the game runs very decent for its current developing state. Also, the other thing I want to mention is very big shout out to Microsoft, because they did not actually give me a grounded key, but a 3 months access to the Game Pass Unlimited. So I can not only play Grounded, but other games for 3 months now. So a big shout out and a big thanks for that. Without further ado though, we're going to jump into the review. We're going to hop onto my save game. I played around about 10 hours in the game. So we're going to start off with the things that I like to mention, or the good things. So first of all, it looks very clean and good and fitting. And what I mean by that is the game has sort of like a theme going. And while art style is always up for debates, and generally I don't want to talk about art style because it's always a personal matter. Some people like different art styles. I think it's fitting for the game. Visually, it looks good, it looks clean, it's not too cluttered, it's colorful, but it doesn't blind your eyes. I think it's a very good and fitting theme for the game and what they're trying to go for, because as a topic, or I guess a tag for the game, they also called it horror game. And all in all, I think it fits this theme very well. The other thing I want to mention is performance is extraordinarily good for a pre-release title. Like, performance-wise, you can see this. I'm having 100, almost 120 FPS consistently, no matter where I run, no matter where I look. I don't really dip down all that much. It runs buttery smooth on my hardware. It does kick my PC a little bit, but at least it uses the hardware that we have, and it runs really, really well. The last thing I want to mention in that regard is I only had one crash so far, given I played like 10-ish hours. I think that's more than understandable and very convenient. So generally I can say the game runs very well, and it's fairly neat. A few other things that I want to give as, I guess, pros away here. The game sort of has like a tutorial-ish. Like when you start out of the game, you have like quest lines that sort of guide you in the general direction of the game. They don't it's not super handheld, it doesn't spoon feed you everything in the game, but it at least gives you some form of direction of what you're expecting, what you need to do, at least in order to establish yourself, which is really good because not everybody is familiar with the survival genre. Not everybody played Minecraft, not everybody played Ark, not everybody played Terraria, not everybody played 7 Days to Die, and whatever plethora of other survival games we have out there. So I think it's good that they're adding a little bit of a guidance, especially for people who may just started out this game because they have the Game Pass Unlimited and are trying it out. So this is a very, very good addition to the game, I think. Last but not least, this is spoiler-free, but there is a storyline in the game. I'm not going to elaborate or not going to talk about this, but if you're looking for sort of a survival with a storyline, then you're also having a little bit of stuff to do here. I suspect around about 5-ish hours is what you have to do or have to invest in order to finish the storyline, but the game doesn't stop there. Like, the map is fairly huge. This is the whole map, and yes, the map expands all the way up to here and here, which essentially is only a garden, but given that you're a smurf, or a little tiny midget here, it makes yourself kind of feeling like a huge, vast world. And it looks good. It has a few biomes, or I don't think I would call them biomes, but you get the rough idea. You have some water, you have caves, you have upper levels, you can climb, you can go down, stuff like this. Also, night and day cycle as you. Last but not least, what I want to talk about is the combat. For the combat, there is one thing I'd like to mention, and that there is a so-called block feature in the game. And this works as simple as holding your right mouse button to bring up this little blue block bar. And as you saw already on the screen, you can hold the block, and what that does is you take the stamina bar or stamina damage sort of on your block bar, and once that's full, you're pretty much done for. You also take chip damage if you hold it that way. However, the thing you just saw here was called a perfect block, and doing it that way, you take no damage and no block stamina whatsoever. So, those were the good things. Now, on to the bad things. Let's just say that there aren't really any game-breaking things that I have encountered so far. As I said, I got stuck a bunch of times, but usually reloading fixed that. And even if you died a few times because of some cheese, then there isn't really all that much of a deal. Some things that I would like to see as an improvement is, for example, certain items like this eye patch here grants me stuff like this, attack and attack stamina. While these things are explained here in a list, I would really like this, for example, if I could just hover over this and they would pop this in. This is probably something more of a quality of life feature, but generally I'd like to see this going. On to the two things that really bugged me, and this is not a pun. There's two things that really bug me. First of all, inventory or item management. There's no hotkey to take everything stack-wise. There is a W button at the bottom here, which basically means everything from the box into your inventory or the different way, or vice versa. But there's nothing like take the stack. There's no shift click, there's no alt click, there's no control click. Same thing goes here. You can just spam left and right mouse button, but you can see it just goes down one biome. There is one way to elevate that, and that is by just dragging it in or out. That works. It kind of beats me why the hell this is not a feature, but I think this is also something they can easily add later on into the game. But we shall see. The biggest pet peeve though, and I think this is like a major drawback, which I kind of have to rant about this topic a little bit. Whenever I encounter these things, I'm not sure if the developers ever played games themselves with mechanics like these. So the inventory itself is not necessarily that big, but there is no weight limit. So it doesn't matter if you have stacks or if anything, or what kind of items you're wearing or using. It doesn't really matter. As long as you have slots, everything's fine. There's nothing that weighs you down. The problem arises, and I will show you what I mean here. So essentially, everything that we have here right now is potentially something we would need. And the worst part is, all of these items are equipped. I have these ready to use, including armor pieces. But for some reason, they thought it's ingenious to leave items that you have equipped in your inventory. For example, if I take this item down, you can see this little, I think it's a cogwheel or something, that kind of displays that this item is equipped. But that's it. It still blocks stuff in your inventory. And honestly, the bottom row is like the bare minimum of stuff that you need to have available at all times. You need an axe to chop down grasses. Without an axe, you can't chop down things like these. You need your club to protect yourself. You also have a blade, which technically you could throw out one, but generally it's better to have both of these, because the club is useful against different types of enemies, whereas the blade also has a few features that make it very viable against certain encounters. The hammer, as you guessed it, is pretty much used to smash things, so if you need to smash rocks or other hard things, you need your hammer. If you want to venture into caves, you need a torch. Then there's stuff that you can dig up, like enemies or certain materials, so you need a shovel. And boom, you have 6 slots of your inventory permanently blocked. Armor consists of 3 pieces. You want to wear armor all the time, so you have 9 pieces blocked. This dandelion tuft is sort of like a glider, which allows me to fall down from high grounds and not take any fall damage. You should also carry these, because sometimes you just slip, or sometimes you want to jump down. So another piece of equipment that is blocking your inventory permanently. I really hope that this is something that they will fix, because this is, without a doubt, the most annoying thing for me in the whole game. There are a bunch of other things, but really, why this is not a thing that these items disappear out of your inventory is beyond me. But hey, it is what it is. But this is pretty much all that I want to rant about. So as you can see, I think there are a lot of good things about the game. And honestly, given that it's a pre-release state, this game, obviously not content-wise, because content is not really that much in the game yet, but quality-wise, mechanics-wise, this game is further ahead than most other pre-release titles, and probably some even actually launched games. Because as I said, it runs smoothly, it has a few good things, the building works really nice, there's a bunch of other things. I think it's a really, really good game. And honestly, if you'd ask me if I could recommend this game, then I would very clearly say yes. I would definitely recommend this game, despite the relatively high price tag of 30 euros for a pre-release title. I still think it's worth it. You can also play this in multiplayer, which I think it ultimately makes this a lot more fun. But even for me in single player, I had a lot of fun playing this game, and I can't wait to see what kind of adjustments or updates they will be throwing in. So generally, definitely a thumbs up for me. Good game, runs very well, looks nice and clean, has a few good mechanics about it. That definitely makes it a viable pick. And if you're into the survival genre and you're not really having an issue with defeating bugs or killing spiders or being killed by spiders, then definitely I'd say give it a shot. This is all for this review. Hopefully this was helpful. And if you guys want to know anything else, anything I may have missed, anything that's confusing, or anything you just want to get off your heart, feel free to do so in the comment section below. And as usual, I will see you guys next time.